Last night, the Toronto Raptors earned an upset victory over the Milwaukee Bucks. So, how did the Raptors manage to win this game and pull off the upset? Let's get into it. Welcome to the Raptors Roundup, the segment on the channel where we round up the Raptors game from the night before on Amateur Sports, the channel where you get NBA content with a focus on the Toronto Raptors. So if it is your first time here with me today, you like what you see, you want more of myself talking about the Raptors in videos just like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, show your support as we look to hit 3,000 subscribers on the channel before the start of April. Also, we do a lot of live streams on the channel. We do live stream watch alongs like the one we did last night for the game against Milwaukee Bucks. It was super hype for the Raptors win. Check out all the great content you missed out on. Okay, DiVincenzo pulls a number out of Harden's book. He does the head fake, wow, that's some great content you missed out on. Make sure you're there for the next live stream tomorrow for another game against Milwaukee Bucks. But let's get into our Raptors roundup. So what we're going to do in this video, you know the drill already. It's the Raptors roundup. We're going to give you a brief overview of the game, take you through a synopsis of what transpired during that game, and then we're going to leave you with 3 key takeaways to move on with for the future. But let's get into our overview for the game. So the Raptors come into this one after a bitterly disappointing loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves. An effort was called into question after an ugly third quarter saw the Minnesota Timberwolves take a big lead into the fourth, and the fourth quarter comeback fell just short after a late miss by Pascal Siakam. And we addressed Pascal Siakam in his clutch ability in our video yesterday, and I think he came out and proved that he can play well late on in the fourth quarter against the Bucks. But we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves here. The Raptors, the key to this game was going to be to run in transition, show a lot of effort to run in transition to play defense because of how good the Bucks are playing transition offense. It would be to hit your threes going the other way. And also, you needed a lot of effort to rebound because of how big this Milwaukee Bucks team is. So let's get into our synopsis. So first quarter, we see OG Anunoby is back and OG Anunoby is starting. And I was hoping this wouldn't compromise Norman Powell's starting spot, and it didn't. And the Raptors went with a small ball lineup to start the game, and it worked to good avail. Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, Norman Powell, OG Anunoby, and Pascal Siakam all got the start in this one, and they came out hot. Milwaukee had no idea what hit them. The Raptors, like I said in the keys to the game, the Raptors needed to hit their threes and run in transition, and that is exactly what they did from the jump in this one. Got themselves out to a bit of an early lead, up to 16-7. Fred was hitting shots. Kyle Lowry was being aggressive, and the Raptors were cooling at the start, but obviously a long game ahead. Milwaukee called a timeout, and Milwaukee is a very good team, even without Drew Holiday, and they started to come back after the timeout, and the game evened up in the first quarter. You know, Giannis was getting his free throws, had a lot of free throws in the first quarter, and was just putting up points. Obviously, Giannis, the back-to-back MVP. The Milwaukee Bucks worked their way back in this game, and from that point on, it was pretty even. I mean, throughout the game, it was pretty even, but especially in this first quarter, closely contested shots either way, and we ended up going into the end of the first quarter with a tie game at 33-33. Pat Connaughton for the Milwaukee Bucks with hitting some absolutely crazy shots in this first quarter as well, and I was getting nightmares and flashbacks to Semi Ojeleye, a role player just going crazy. I think Connaughton had 4 threes in the first quarter, and the Raptors were not going out to contest them, and Connaughton was knocking them down. The shooting for the Bucks from 3 was great in this first quarter, not so much for the Raptors, but because of the great run they had early on, they managed to go in tied at the end of the first. In the second quarter, Toronto's offense continued to do quite well. We weren't hitting at a tremendous clip from 3, but we were still putting in buckets. We were still getting to the rim, getting points, but Milwaukee was keeping up with the Raptors. Both teams were responding with bucket after bucket. Boucher was coming off the bench and having a good night for himself as well, and the Raptors earn a tie at halftime despite being down by double digits in this second quarter. It's tied 64-64 at half. Toronto need to keep and maintain this great effort that they showed in the first half, because despite it being tied at halftime, we know Milwaukee is good. You got to continue to put up those points if you want to be able to win this basketball game. But we go into halftime 64-64. So in our third quarter, it's a bit of a game of runs here. It's still even. Every run is matched by the other team eventually to tie it up yet again. And Pascal Siakam, who had, a decent first half, putting up points, did so inefficiently, but started to pick up the efficiency in this third quarter, about midway through the third quarter, because he was taking a lot of threes. threes. He was feeling himself from three because he's been a lot better from three lately, but they just weren't quite falling down as usual. I believe he finished his game 2 for 7 from three. And in the third quarter, that's when he really decided, okay, no more threes, time to get aggressive, get into the paint. And I think that the points fell a little more often for Siakam once he made that executive decision. And it's a tight game, and then all of a sudden, Kyle Lowry goes down with an injury. It seemed like he rolled his ankle in the second quarter, but tried to play through it in the third quarter and was limping and just couldn't do it. So Kyle Lowry was out for the remainder of the game, and he was playing great. He had 18 points midway through the third quarter. It was going to be a problem without Lowry, but then something lights under the Raptors after the Kyle Lowry injury because we come out sniping. Chris Boucher quickly puts up 2 threes. The Raptors offense starts going crazy. Chris Boucher eventually added another 3 in the quarter. I mean, Milwaukee didn't do their scouting report on Boucher because they were daring him to hit threes, and he hit 4 of them in this game. The motivation from seeing their leader, Kyle Lowry, step out with injury just bombarded the Milwaukee Bucks. Even OG Anunoby was chipping in as well. And then even though the Raptors led, again, runs were matched throughout this game. Even though the Raptors went on a run, Milwaukee found themselves on a run as well and got themselves back into the game. Giannis was still putting up his points. He had a great second half, but we were stumping some of the other guys like Pat Connaughton, and Bobby Portis was still getting us, but not quite the level of offense Milwaukee had in the first half per se, but Giannis was still getting a ton of points for himself, and for that reason, the Raptors go into the fourth quarter up by 3 points. The Raptors also started to get more free throw calls. The free throw splits were just really bad after the first half, but slowly evened out over the course of the third quarter. So now we head into our fourth quarter here where, it's a tight game. Can the Raptors get it done in the clutch, in a close game? Well, it's easier to do that when the defense is there. And the Raptors have been able to recently turn on a new level of defense late on in the third and in the fourth quarter. That is exactly what they did here. The defense absolutely turned on in the fourth quarter. There were some spells in the fourth where the Raptors weren't knocking down shots, but the defense, the effort, the rotations were all ever present in the fourth quarter, making it very difficult for Milwaukee to earn any sort of buckets. And this is where Pascal Siakam really came alive in this game, was being aggressive, getting to the paint, going for some tough makes, going for some fouls, drawing fouls, and hitting a ton of shots in close. It was great to see Pascal Siakam really light the fuse and be aggressive. It's something he can consistently do throughout every game, and it's nice to see when he just starts attacking and he's hungry to get the baskets. He's hungry to get the points in the clutch for his team. Fred VanVleet was continuously slaying giants, getting himself in the paint, putting up baskets right at the rim, and also, when he had to, stepped out and knocked down his shots. And Chris Boucher as well, like I said, Milwaukee was daring him, and he was knocking down the threes. And the Raptors, with this great offense and defense, find themselves up 112-103 decently late on in the game. And we're excited. Milwaukee called a timeout. Everybody's hyped. But then we know Milwaukee are still a very talented team and can get back in this game. And what do you know? Right out of the timeout, 3 straight makes for the Bucks, 3 straight misses for the Raptors. Quick 6-0 run, all of a sudden a one-possession game yet again. This is when the Raptors' ability to close games against big teams really comes into question. The Raptors call a timeout, only up 3, and then the offense starts to get hot again. Pascal Siakam continues to slash. OG Anunoby gets a ridiculous and 1, and the Raptors start putting up points. They go up 117-109. The defense was absolutely tremendous, and it's no secret that this team has really missed OG Anunoby. His presence was felt. 11 points for OG in his return from injury, and it's clear that we missed him because of how good our defense was in contrast to other games. And obviously, the leader on defense, OG being there, significantly helped our cause in this game. The Raptors rolled to a big advantage, and Pascal Siakam continued to put up points in the clutch with under 2 minutes to go, really taking it right to the Bucks, getting those baskets, making their life difficult, and the Bucks, who tried to chuck up a ton of threes late on to get back in this game, could not find a basket, and the Raptors rolled to a 124-113 victory in this one. A great game the Raptors showed and bounced back from that tough Minnesota Timberwolves loss, and they showed that they are still here. They are not going to lie down. They are still here in this NBA season, in this Eastern Conference, and they are going to continue to be competitive. Hopefully Lowry's okay for the Thursday game, but fantastic display, fantastic effort all over the court from the Raptors. One of their best, if not possibly their best performance of the season as a collective unit. Now let's get into our 3 key takeaways of the game in this one. And the first key takeaway is that OG is back, and that means our defense has turned back to what it was. It's no secret that when OG Anunoby was out, our perimeter defense was struggling. We were struggling to contest shots on the outside, struggling to rotate as well. So OG Anunoby's return, one of the best defenders one-on-one on ball in the NBA, coming back, made it a lot easier for the Raptors in this one. We know how good the Milwaukee Bucks can be. We know how many points the Milwaukee Bucks can rack up, but great defense, and it's a testament to OG Anunoby's ability when he comes back into this game. Great stuff from OG. Great stuff from the whole team on defense. Second key takeaway is that Nick Nurse started with the small ball lineup here, and it was a great success. I mean, we came out hot, again, jumped out to a 16-7 run, so I would be shocked if the small ball lineup was not deployed on Thursday night as well. It was also great to see Norman Powell coming in and still getting the start despite everybody being healthy. However, we don't know about the health of Kyle Lowry, but the Raptors clearly can make this small ball work, and we'll see if they continue with this for the foreseeable future. The third key takeaway is despite the insane size that the Milwaukee Bucks have, and despite the Raptors going with the small ball lineup consistently throughout this game, the Raptors still managed to out-rebound this Milwaukee Bucks team. The Raptors definitely struggled to rebound. The fact that they could out-rebound the Bucks is a huge testament to the effort displayed all throughout the game. I mean, I'm sure Nick Nurse before the game said, no, we're playing small ball. We need guys boxing out. We need guys getting gritty down low and rebounding, and that is exactly what the Raptors did, limiting these second chance possessions to a team who had, Giannis, who had Brook Lopez. So great stuff from the Raptors being able to combat the size, earning those extra possessions, and earning a hard-earned upset victory here. I was super hyped for this one. Watching on the stream, and the chat knows it as well. Don't miss the next one on Thursday night as the Raptors play the Bucks. Again, can we pull off the back-to-back against one of the best in the East? We will have to see them. The Raptors, just great defensive sets, and there was some bad sets on offense, but overall the offense was great. I mean, I'm really liking the defense that they displayed. The rotations were very crisp. They were sharp. We were going out contesting, and we were getting rebounds, especially in the second half. Just a fantastic game for Raptors fans to watch. What did you guys make of this Raptors performance against the Milwaukee Bucks? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions about this game in the comments down below. But that wraps it up for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you are still here, please like the video if you like, and subscribe to Amateur Sports for more content just like this. We got a ton of Raptors videos. We got a ton of live streams. Make sure you are here for the Amateur Hour Sports journey. We just hit 2,100 subscribers, and we're looking to hit 3,000 before the start of April. You can help us get there by subscribing to the channel. So thank you all for the great support that has been coming in recently. Some big things are on the way on the channel. At the end of the day, I believe what I say. If you disagree, that is okay. We'll see you again next time for another video.